Alright, Florida Railroad Museum car host training. Welcome aboard March 10th, Florida Railroad Museum table of contents. Introduction, safety, responsibility, car host, knowledge, skills, history, right of way, history, museum, histories of Willet Town and Mill Museum, equipment, locomotive, the Federal Gulf Coast, 100, 822, 1835, 1633, Gardner, 61, BEDT, 12, passenger coach, seaboard coach, 821. The DL and W coaches 351, 3518 and 3572. New York, Georgia Coat, Mopac Caboose 12070. Freight equipment, maintenance way equipment. The safety of our passengers, our crew, and the public museum properties are our highest priority. Introduction. On the behalf of the Florida Railroad Museum, I want to welcome you aboard to our trains with the car host training. The position car host described entry level to serve the duty with a hardly entry level in terms of its importance. Car hosts perform a vital service in ensuring passenger safety, the most important objective of all train crew members. They work more closely with their passengers than any other member of the crew, welcoming them, helping them aboard, finding seats, securing windows, and then for them opening multiple unit cars. Once underway, car hosts informs and entertain with our visitors, make their railroad experience more enjoyable by seeing their needs and providing information about the destination, town, and will of the train, history of the line, and the museum. Is for these reasons the museum has a genuine interest in seeing that the car hosts are well trained. Following materials are prepared to assist you in becoming the best car host you can become. Please read with carefully, taking advantage of the knowledge and experience of the car host trainers you will work with throughout your training. For information skills, you will learn about the foundation for advancement of the entrainment. Next step of the promotional process. Thank you, volunteer. I wish you every success with the car host. Best regards, William Poe III, certifying conductor, Florida Railroad Museum. Safety. Safety is the first importance in the discharge of duty. All train crew members are issued a book of safety rules which must be understood and have availability at all times. Information below is one of the most basic and important. You must know shall not supersede any other rule noticed in general order. Do not board or detrain moving equipment. Do not keep clear of standing and moving equipment. Do not stand on tracks. Do not board detraining until permission is given from the conductor. When in doubt, take the safest route. Responsibly at 12:01 a.m. Wednesday, June 10th, 2009, a revised car host training program was implemented with the current requirements for the car host contained timetable number 4, pages 9 and 10. In addition to several new requirements, features include a new title, car host trainer. Car hosts will be responsible for the following information: history of the Federal Railroad Museum right away, Federal Railroad Museum equipment roster summaries, and history of the town of Willow and the FRM org. Demonstrate mastery of the knowledge and skills included with the car host knowledge and skill checklist. Car hosts must bring all training materials with them when they report for training service. The car host training will supervise the training evaluation of all of the car hosts according to the following guidelines. Car hosts will schedule training service through the crew call at frrm.org after the first coordinated with their choice of the dates for the car host trainer. Car hosts are required to work with a car host trainer each time they volunteer for the service. No more than 2 car hosts may work one time with a car host trainer on any single leg of Paris-Willows round trip. Unless specified needs, arrangements have been previously made with the crew call with the car host will begin and their work at the day of the Willows Yard. They must report with the car host training when they arrive. Car host training will instruct required knowledge and skill to demonstrate proper technique with the car host. Must work in with a car host trainer until they are promoted with the trainman. Car hosts will advance at their own pace, will make a sufficient number of the trips necessary to demonstrate mastery of the required knowledge skill will be promoted with the trainman. Promotion decision will be based on census evaluation of both car host trainer plus a passing score on the safety rules examination. Thank you, William Poe III, the certifying conductor. Car host knowledge and skills. Perform passenger boarding and detraining. Operation car vestibules and traps. Boarding room, boarding ramp and placement. Removal of storage. Loading platform, gates and chains. For mobility impaired with a wheelchair bound. Passenger loading, seating, wheelchair placement. Listen. Convert all stop horn signal before detraining. Board detraining at the grade. Use the step box to ensure safe detraining. Provide physical assistance to passengers descending vestibule steps. Onboard passenger safety. Instruct passengers to step over the sliding car buffer. Provide plates to avoid injury. Prevent riding in the vestibules running through the car's consumption of the alcohol beverage. Comply with the Florida Clean Air Act. No smoking. Importance for the footwear to avoid passenger injury. Ensures young children are accompanied by adults at all times. Keep passenger hands, arms, and heads within the multiple unit car windows open. Car sides. Opening, pinning, closing multiple unit car windows for passengers. Advising, assisting passengers in steady themselves against some falls while working through the moving train. Medical kits, fire extinguisher, emergency emergency equipment location and use. Emergency brake valves and handle location. Use electrical power plant panels, electrical cabinets, circuit breakers location, fan light switches location, and AC controls operation. Official forms of the record CT 801, passenger medical release from call of the conductor for assistance. Membership application, cleaning. Bathroom cleaning, sinks and toilets, resupply of paper goods, soap, replenishment of air freshener, sweeping the vacuum, carpet, floors, and carpet. Dispose of the trash, replacement of the trash can liners at the end of the workday, wiping seats with the moisture and dirt as required, location, cleaning supplies, storage for vacuum cleaners, brooms, trash liners, other. Concession stands, operates supply shortage, cash handling, cash pouch, security, passenger low car, locomotive type of the history, air conditioners, cars, train route, history of the right-of-way, narration, highlights, Florida Railroad Museum, Florida Power and Light Company, relationship with the town, Willows, lumber operation, history, yard tour. Florida Railroad Museum, founding history and mission, founding membership, internet website, special events and service locomotive rentals, booze charges, and other future plans, public relations, proper dress, required uniform, professional, friendly, demeanor of the use, acceptable speech, great passenger, greeting passenger arrival, answering questions, resolving the problem, ensuring passenger comfort and enjoyment, and knowing when to call the conductor for assistance, thanking the passenger for patronage on detraining, representing the FRA for the best possible manner at all times. No, trains for physically demanding work. Car hosts must be able to stand with long periods of the time, be able to balance themselves while working, standing, and moving equipment, to be strong enough to be able to provide physical assistance to the passengers who are boarding and detraining, as well as emergencies. Remainder of the page is intentionally left blank. History of the right-of-way, the line on which Florida Railroad Museum operates, opened in 1903, the Florida West Indies Railroad Steamship Company, and an ambiguous-sounding, colorful name typical of many of the America's early railroad lines. Subsidiary Seaboard Airline Railroad. After a few years, the original name was dropped in favor of the parent company name. The name had nothing to do with the travel by winged aircraft, but notion of faster, more direct service with the rail lines that connect the cities. As bird flies through the air, Seabird went back into 1832 in Virginia throughout the rest of the 19th century. The first part of the 20th century, the seaboard expanded with north and south throughout the southeast, reaching sites of the Richmond, Norfolk, Wilmington, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Savannah, points west of the Alabama. At its peak, the seaboard was a 4,000-mile system. Essentially, it was elsewhere in the fierce. It went elsewhere. Its fierce competitor with the Atlantic coastline went, and it was not surprising the two railroads merged in 1967. The track over which railroad or the ride of the seaboard line connecting Tampa to Bradenton, Sarasota, and Venice in 1967. The seaboard merged with the rival Atlantic coastline to form Seaboard Coastline. Later, Seaboard Coastline merged with the several other line with today's mission, CSXT. The CSX Transportation Company, one of the major Class 1 freight railroad companies in the United States. Following the Seaboard Coastline merger, of the route was slowly abandoned with the Durant and Heidelberg County, Elton, Manatee County. Railroad favored the parallel existing American Atlantic coastline along US 41 went to perish because of their superior operating characteristics. Today, this line is still in use to see substantial CSX freight traffic, including the famous Tropicana products, incorporated orange juice trains beyond Bradenton, Kearney, New Jersey. Up abandonment 15 miles to the south of the end of the Seaboard Airline Seaboard Airline Road, the ex-Seaboard Airline Road, Ellington to Willow, purchased the Florida Power Light Company to preserve railroad access to the power plant near the parish. In 1992, the Federal Railroad Administration secured an agreement Florida Power and Light. They operated Cheros trains in the over parish to the Willow section on the line. Parish itself was once an important point of the route, prosperous growing community with a 2 grocery, dry goods store, with restaurants, hotels, barbershop, churches, post offices, the doctor's office. The railroad offered direct access to the market for local grown fruit and vegetables, the major industry in the area. The original depot was located just west of the railroad. The grade crossing at US 301. Residents could also ride local passenger service from into Bradenton in the morning, returning in the afternoon. Last search trains operated in 1968. The line also hosted some of the Seaboard Airline Atlantic greatest passenger trains, including the Tampa to Venice section of the famous Silver Metro. Passenger service to the Venice was discontinued in 1971. January 1916, the map of the Seaboard Airline Road goes from Erie to Paris, Willow, Wilma, this part right here, Wilma, Burnett. History of the Museum of the Florida Railroad Museum was born in 1982 with the Florida Gulf Coast Railroad Museum. After seven founding members donated $100 each to incorporate, opening a checking account. One of the founders, Jim Henry, and a number of the Missouri Pacific cabooses had loaned one of these 1207 with the museum act as starting point of our future. Jim was a broker of the railroad equipment. A number of the Mopac cabooses can be seen in Tobacco Bay areas off of the offices or cottages. We repainted the caboose and the Seaboard Coastline with the result of 1967 the merger of Seaboard Airline and Atlantic Coastline Railroads. Took him to Tampa Union Station to meet the Gold Coast Railroad Museum presidential car. Ferdinand Magellan coming from the Miami on the rear of the Amtrak Silver Palm for the weekend. We ran a joint railroad weekend with the Gold Coast as first fundraising event and kicked off the opening museum membership to the public. Around this time, the Tampa Bay Charter of the National Railroad Historical Society donated Southern Railway baggage car 142 to us, and we moved it from the North Tampa to join with the caboose in the storage of Florida Cement on Adamo Drive. The Jaron Herring caught the Richard Dick Sanborn Seaboard Coastline line president, begged for the locomotive from the Seaboard Coastline, donated to the SW9, the ex-American Coastline number 648. Derailed when brought to our storage site. At about this time, the old Tampa yard was former freight with the Meridian Street was chosen in the office of Martin Burroughs. Had a number of cars that they had to be moved. We arranged to move to our site promptly. Derailed too, blocking entrance to Florida Ship Repair Company and ticking off the management for years to come. Museum plans at this time were to buy or have Cosmos Spurs donated a line over the running at northwestern direction town country and toward Tarpaulin Springs, Newport Richey, Elfers, and Growth an area effectively killed this plan with looking for the location future site. One problem to develop the Florida Cement started to receive the cement in the rail cars. We had to relocate. We negotiated the Seaboard Coastline and moved the old division headquarters on Adamo Drive. Jim Aaron moved us to 2 sleepers from South Petersburg to store with our equipment. During this period, we acquired the Cape Tormentine from Viva the Rail in Canada, arranged the truck swamp from Martin Bureau's ex-IC Diner from the Seaboard Coastline to exchange the Clinchfield 100 private car. We ran the 100 on the Silver Palm to a Miami, a couple of funding raisers taking the Cape Torment, Washington, D.C. for a private varnish convention along with Jim's ex-Viva Florida East Coast Railroad sleeper. Later, the generator was replaced with the Cape Torment, and it ran weekend trips to Savannah on the back schedule of the Amtrak trains. Somewhere in the same period, the New Jersey Transit shut down with the Delaware and Lackawanna Western Railroad electrical operations, converting those lines with a 3,000-volt DC to 11,000-volt AC compatible with the Northeast Corridor of the Northern New Jersey, and auctioned off the 1930s built multiple unit operation cars. We bid 2 cars on the Gulf Coast, bid for 5. We won both. Of course, we moved with the 7 cars cut with the return rear of the Northern New Jersey, Waycross, Georgia. Gold Coast member rode them to the point of the boat, took the Gold Coast cars on the Miami Wood, Missouri, and another. Woody Masra, another founding member, rode to the museum. 2 cars down in Tampa. Cars 3518 and 3572 are still in use today, D-motor open window coaches. While the division headquarters were still obtained on a tool car with a few growers and express with a refrigerator car, Atlantic Coastline head end referred to the Mike McStratus. Another founding member brought on a stainless steel baggage car from the almost defunct Royal American shows. We cleaned and relaid the car to the Atlantic Coastline line. And Amtrak expressed the desire for the baggage car, we swapped the two Alca American Locomotive Company's Road Switcher 3 to open their other parts of the both movable, their own wheels. A couple of membership went to Wilmington, Delaware, and selected Amtrak's engines number 114 and 133. Jim Herron, Bob Wright rode the Wilmington, Richmond, Virginia, where Seaboard Coastline delayed. There was some badly, 2 men and abandoned with the 2 trips fly home. And some of the engines were split up at the end of the Hampton Roads, Virginia, and other Waycross, Georgia. They eventually found the way to Adamo Drive location just in time. Eviction and CSX Transportation had sold the property. Jim Herron found the close phosphate plant with the Manatee County with a penny point with a negotiated lease for the owners. It was here that we got the Road Switcher 3, number 133, running. D-motor, the Delaware, Lackawanna, Western multi-unit cars, complete with lots of work and other equipment. CSX Barter repainted the switch SW9 number 648 with a Mopac caboose for the family day at the Utica Yard facility in Tampa. Our museum people and staff of the CSX farewell to the Tarpon Springs train ride. When the line was abandoned, we provided with the Cape Tormentine for these trips operated with a concession. Phosphate location lasted only a year to 2. Property who was also sold. Once again, the museum was homeless. Jim Herron found another location with the Tampa Electric Plant. At Big Bend, again, the entire collection of the equipment was moved to a new home. Tampa Electric, Tico, where we got, at Tico, we got the RS3 number 114-648 running both of the ex-American Coastline line tanker car from a scrapper in Tampa. Ray Date Miller's machinery donated with the benefactor of the Burlington, Alabama move of the Big Bend installed with the Fruit Growers Express with the tool car. Purchased with the Kentucky Club Tavern lounge car, the ex-American Coastline 11116, and ex-Louisiana Central number 2682. From the Royal American Show, the Mike Mastras brought us the ex-Baltimore and Ohio caboose. Northern Western caboose was donated with the Northern South Folk Corporation. We sold one Sleepers Jim Herron had given the museum scraper to donate the boxcar with the St. Petersburg move of the other 2. There was Big Ben, we used the storage. Alright, while we were at Big Bend, Agrico Phosphate Company approached us with a run and employee special over the private railroad of the Bone Valley. Pavement used of their equipment and purchase of the generator was installed with the Kentucky Club. The home of the ductwork on its fan shroud ran 2 of the 3 car trains, one with the Kentucky Club multiple unit Mopac caboose, others with the Cape Tormentine of the multiple use and B&O caboose. They were very successful trips. In the late 1970s, the Seaboard Coastline abandoned with the Paris subdivision ran with the Durant, Florida to Palmetto. The southern end of the Willow to Palmetto had been sold with the Florida Power and Light to exit the plant near Ferris. For the mid-1980s, we negotiated CSX to buy the remaining of the Durant to Willow, but CSX wanted $830,000 for the 20.5 miles, which was way over our heads. Northern 10 miles was equipped with a 100-pound relay rail with CSX wanted to use the group hide. Rail building, Rice Yard, and the Waycross, Georgia. We continued to Diker, finally got them to leave 2 miles of trail rail intact with the future operation north of Willow. The section included the thorough truss bridge over Little Manatee River. In 1980, Tico purchased the 20.5 miles for future power line right away. The left of 1,400-foot long stretch between Tico and Florida Power and Light, which the museum purchased. We moved the 040 steam locomotive from the Lowry Park Zoo to locomotion. Lowry Park Zoo with the location, later truck to the BEDT number 12 steam engine, which was donated with Ed Ryan. We decided to approach a very negligible. We decided to approach a very negative Florida Power and Light to first lease, and their southern portion of the line. Jim Herron, Mr. Mike's Mistras, Woody Marsara, Bob Wright hammered out an agreement resulting in a 20-year lease. The problem with the now faith of the museum started among the board of directors that decided only with the site with the readily converted with the cash for the SW9 locomotive in 1991. We sold the Florisham, Davenport, Florida. In September of the year, the move of the major portion of the equipment of power and light property of the brand at north of the over 1,400-foot stretch of track. We ran a few mile trial, free trips to get with the people to train to show to the public we had to offer. Our first cooperation in 1992, we was the one most successful sold-out train with charter boost, caboose parties, and successful events. Since this, we have purchased the former Pennsylvania Railroad sleeper, the Bradenton, and 2 rare retired cars, which purchased for the Ringling Brothers Circus, Shortleaf Pine, 89 flat car with a converted into open-air car with the expiration. The ex-Pennsylvania Railroad gondola was brought from CSX and converted into the open car purchased for the Frrm, and a new Georgia Railroad air-conditioned 44-seat coach car, 2 ex-U.S. Army Electric Motor Division GP7 locomotives, 822 and 1835, ex-U.S. Navy GE, a 44-ton locomotive on number 100 donated to the museum. 2009, the museum sold the Kentucky Club lunch car with the Kentucky Railroad Museum, sending the car home. 3-way trading with the Kentucky Railroad Museum and the Federal Railroad Administration was also arranged in 2009. Cape Tormentine would go to the Florida Railroad Museum, Federal Railroad Administration for refurbishment and inspection car exchange with the Seaboard Coastline. However, the weight coach and 821 swap most closely of lines. Museum of Florida Heritage also works as former Seaboard Jim Crow car located in northern Florida, which will be outright purchased one or more of our members. Jose Community donated 3 dry rock hoppers, State of the Florida Bone Valley Phosphate Operation Mulberry Rare Car Repair. Graciously donated time and materials preparing with the repainting each car. The transportation of Mulberry to the museum was arranged with the CSX transportation at no cost to the museum. The cars are now displayed in Paris next to US 301 with the one spotting with a American Coast Atlantic Coastline paint, one with the Seaboard Coastline colors, and the final car wearing mosaic titles. Alright, the future of the museum is purchased additional property in Willow. The current rents out with a house. Currently rents out a house it owns there. We are processing, building, shipping the maintenance storage from the yard of the Willow, clearing the remains of old lumber mill with a future restoration display, picnic area of the tradition display building. Also planned with the Willow. We someday hope to negotiate purchase with the Little Manatee River Bridge, right of the way of the Southfold Road, and extend our run through the 100-year-old bridge. Other future plans will include the property purchased for the parish main station as small station at Dickey Road, with a siding and major right-way rehabilitation. To end this museum, we have purchased and had donated various pieces of maintenance away, equipment, backhoe, tie rail vehicle, very hand power tools, and museum owns a lot of material that is desperately needed to display. In addition, some of the members privately owned equipment at beginning store with a museum future display operation. We also have the ex-Missouri, Kansas, Texas Railroad coach stored at Tampa Union Station. The Missouri, Kansas, Texas car, along with the ex-Atlantic Coastline 1116, Illinois Central 2682, are candidates of the future restoration operation. The Betty 12 steam engine is possible for restoration operation and would be an ideal locomotive for operation. We have run and plan to continue very successful caboose, the train locomotive, the charter with the surprise. We have continue very successful caboose and train locomotive charters. We have sponsored a day out with Thomas, the little engine that could a month of steam, the Easter Bunny special, the Halloween special, North Pole Express special, Veterans Day, Von Kissinger Express, World War II special, North-South Day. Hole in the Head Gang train robbery events will welcome mom and dads with complimentary admission with the Mother and Father's Day. Other complimentary rides, Southern Guide Dogs training purposes of the museum continue the purpose of the goals operating 1940-1950s era museum preserving artifacts, equipment, particularly to open our area and its industrial agricultural heritage. We'll cut the tape there.